Justin Boyd.
Tristan Jones.
I'm Frank Cooper.
And we are the Watchers in the Basement. Welcome to the Watchers in the Basement. Welcome to a crossover pod. We're talking about two things today. We're talking about the latest Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer and also Watchers football. We got to talk about the very entertaining wildcard weekend that was the NFL playoffs, and we'll get to that shortly. But let's start off with the fourth teaser trailer. Now, Frank, you saw this one last week when it kind of leaked. You were the first one in our group to kind of put it out there. I just want to get your thoughts on it first. What do you think about this trailer and what we see in it?
When I see the back of Shuri's head, I'm like, I bet Wakanda's back in this bitch. I miss Wakanda. I feel like Wakanda's been out of the fold for the last 3-4 years now. So to finally see, a Wakandan finally, after all these years, it made my heart flutter. I know there's been a lot of rumors about, the recast of T'Challa and all of that, but I was a big fan of Shuri in Wakanda Forever. I thought she did a great job. I thought the cast of that movie did a great job. And M'Baku, came into his own as well. So, a lot of things were left, kind of out in the open with left interpretation, with M'Baku becoming king and Shuri kind of just keeping the mantle, but like not really doing a queenly duty. So the trailer itself kind of it spoke for itself. Like even the voiceover of Shuri talking about like, hey, like, I'm no queen, I'm no king. I'm here to like protect and serve, but like the king would do that. My job is to fight and get ready for the impending battle. So just seeing that walk from her, it just looked iconic, like some shit is about to go down. And seeing, Ben, aka the Thing, in there, like it kind of fortifies, like, hey, we're all on the same team and the same timeline, so let's get it. But I was very, very impressed with the trailer or with the teaser.
Yeah, that's the interesting part about it, because like if you saw the Fantastic Four movie, which came out last summer, we know the Fantastic Four, they're from a different Earth. They're from Earth 828. They're in their own timeline. And well, of course, the Wakandans are from the 616. So we're assuming, obviously we're seeing them meet here in this teaser trailer, but it's very interesting of where do we think they're meeting? And Tristan, I'll throw to you. What do you think about the trailer, and where do you think that these two different groups are kind of meeting?
Well, I'll start with the last one. I'm assuming on a different. This looks like a different planet, like a different surface. Man, y'all lose me with the numbers, man. This could be Earth 713 for all I know. But I thought the trailer was dope, man. What's interesting to me about this is the Russo brothers on Instagram came out a few hours ago, earlier today, and just said like essentially like this is part of like a larger story. Like there's things in here we're supposed to be missing, or like clues about something, but ultimately it's kind of catching us up, to what's been happening throughout these phases, and Lord knows we need catching up, man. I know I do. But I thought the trailer was dope. I like how they're kind of piecing together each one of these. Like Steve Rogers will return, and I hopefully this means that Marvel is past like all the super mystery stuff and just like, hey, we know that Steve Rogers will be back. Like, let's put more emphasis on like the story, and like now that Steve Rogers is back and turning that into like compelling, film as they once did. So I thought the trailer was dope, and I feel like this is a good step in getting us back to like the grit of what Marvel has been over the last 20 years.
Yeah, I really like this one. This is the fourth one. They've all been different. Like you said, the first one was Steve Rogers talking. It's kind of like the breaking news, like, oh, he's coming back. Not that we're super surprised, but given how his character was kind of written off and he went into the sunset in Endgame, you weren't sure if he was going to come back. The second one was, focused on Thor, him praying to the All Fathers for the help he needs to defeat one more opponent. Then the third one was the X-Men, the Fox X-Men characters looking like they're about to meet their demise. And then now you have what I think is like the most important one of these is because this is what I've always talked about. We need to see these characters connect. We need to see Black Panther Shuri and M'Baku and Namor, who we see in this trailer. We need to see them meet up with other characters that are in this world. And granted, the Fantastic Four are not from the 616, but they are from they're now in the NCU, given their movie came out this summer. And if you watch Thunderbolts, you saw that their rocket is coming to Earth in the post credit scene. So now we see that they've reached the planet. So now we'll see what's going to happen. I'm glad to see these characters come together. And Frank, to me, this kind of gives me the feelings of like what we got in Infinity War, because in a lot of ways, another movie the Russo brothers directed, they did Infinity War and Endgame, back to back years. They're doing the same thing with Doomsday and Secret Wars, coming in December of this year. Secret Wars coming in 2027 in December. And the meetups in that movie where we had Thor interacting with the Guardians, and you had Iron Man and Doctor Strange meeting up for the first time. To me, this is kind of similar. What are your thoughts on the meetup between the Fantastic, or at least one member? Because we're not sure where the other Fantastic Four are, but we see Ben Grimm.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the magnitude, it's in some respects is even grander and bigger, because now like you worry about time collapsing and like incursions and like worlds, being merged into one, and like or timelines being totally erased. It looks like there's gonna be more characters too. So say it again.
A ton of characters. I mean, there's like 40 something people that we know are going to be in the movie that are confirmed. Yeah.
And then characters coming back, and then the exception of the X-Men. So like for me, it's going to be a bigger movie than Infinity War and Endgame. Like I thought Infinity War and Endgame those two movies were cinematically perfect from the standpoint of adding so many different elements, combining a 10-year story arc and pretty much wrapping it up in 2 movies. That I've never seen that before. And so to now bring the Russo brothers back, and then step it up a notch and bring back, Robert Downey, and then all these characters, and then characters from the Fox universe. I have no doubt that this will be perfect. No doubts, only because they created a genre and created like a level of perfection with a mashup of all these characters before, just back in the late 2017 or whatever, to now step up a notch. They have all the components and ingredients, and the Russo brothers, they have not disappointed yet. Whether it was Captain America, whether it's any of the Avengers movies, they keep pushing the envelope and they keep getting to uncharted territories. And even my questions of being concerned of like not seeing these characters in solo films, getting solo arcs, only getting like one Shang-Chi movie. We haven't seen Shang-Chi in years now.
He is in the Copenhagen test. Let me tell you that.
Right now, if the Copenhagen test shows up in Doomsday, I know it's just getting real. But no, I mean, like we didn't really get a story arc of these characters leading into Doomsday, like X-Men come to the fold and Wolverine, Deadpool. But again, because it is the Russo brothers, I have no doubts that this is going to be great. I expect it to surpass Endgame. I think it will be the highest grossing movie of all time. I think it's going to get to that point.
I like your optimism, but I don't know. Endgame was like a special time. I don't know if we're going to get to that. But go ahead, Tristan. What were you going to say?
Endgame was a moment in time. Like I don't think that's probably like the last time that a movie was like this monolithic, where everybody's at the theater, like we're making plans, like we're getting groups together to go to the movies like that. Like I think Doomsday has the potential to be an event. I don't know if it has the potential to be an event to where we are like it brings people together. Like you remember when Black Panther came out. Like I just don't think we're at a time in how we care about movies. You know what I'm saying? Like going to the movie theaters and like making that into like a big thing to where it can meet that. I hope it does. Like that would be a great sign of like maybe the world is slightly healing, you know, so like one centimeter at a time. Like I really do hope it does, because it's for sure going. I think they're going to pull out every stop to get it back to that point, right? Like I think Endgame is like the high that you chase forever. You know what I'm saying? Like you talk to people who lived through the 70s, and like when, you know, Star Wars first came out, like that was something that, hey, the world is shutting down. So like I definitely think Marvel is trying to match that moment. You know what I'm saying? And I do give them credit for like trying to get there. I don't know if the world is at the place for, you know, for all of us to like feel that same way at the same time. But like, man, I surely hope so. I absolutely hope so, because it's definitely going to be long enough to like try to achieve that.
Yeah,
like, this would damn it'd be a 4-hour movie.
The only reason why I say I had the chance to do it, because with all the success from the previous phases, Robert Downey was the center of that, and now he's back. And the fact that they brought him back, and you know, some people were kind of like, "Why you're undoing Endgame, right?" But like, I don't think you are. I mean, this is not Tony Stark. This is a variant. So it's like, I think the monolithic ending, an era of Endgame, is still going to be preserved, because now you're dealing with like the ramifications of Endgame. And I think people who love Endgame so much are going to come back to the theaters to see what was the ramifications of Steve Rogers' decision to stay in time. What was the ramifications of now Victor Von Doom and like, I mean, again, this is me speculating, but it looks like this is going to stem from the decision of Steve Rogers staying back in time, living out his life, and creating all these incursions. And I think fans are going to want to see that. And then plus that Steve Rogers is back, and like he is the symbol of like he's a symbol of like America and hope. Like they're gonna like want to see him back on the silver screen. So bring these two actors back into the fold. I think it's going to recreate a lot of nostalgic and magic to get people back in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie's going to do very well. I think it's going to be the biggest movie of 2026 by far, but I think it's hard to kind of recapture, because it wasn't just Endgame, it was Infinity War. It was even, and Captain Marvel was in between those. That movie made $1 billion. Like that was one of my least favorite movies in the MCU, and it made $1 billion. Like now, like it's hard for movies to make $1 billion nowadays. Like I mean, besides like Avatar, which does it pretty routinely, but I mean, I'm looking forward to this movie. I think this is, I mean, event wise, this could be a bigger event, like as far as the importance of it, because you know, Endgame was like this thing they built up to, and it was like the series finale of Marvel. But the only thing is, there is no series finale. The stories continue, these characters continue, and I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, how they're going to try to make this movie a direct sequel to Endgame, and not gloss over all what has happened in Phase 4 and 5, but to kind of, you know, bring back the characters that made Marvel the machine that it is, but also incorporate all the new characters. And I'm really interested to see how the Russos do it. And I think they've kind of shown us little pieces here and there just in these 4 teaser trailers, and I can't wait. The last thing I want to mention about this trailer specifically is I want to read the transcript of what Shuri says, because she says something pretty interesting. She says, "I've lost everyone that matters to me. The king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife. I have mine." Now, when she says she lost everyone that matters to her, Frank, do you think is she counting the little kid, her nephew, who, like, because if so, I want to pose this to you, because you mentioned before about how there's a lot of talk that Damson Idris is going to be Black Panther. He's going to be the new Black Panther at some point, either in Doomsday or Secret Wars. My question is it going to be a Black Panther from another universe? Is it going to be, are they going to age the kid up? Is the kid gone? What are your theories as we kind of parse this out?
So two things could be happening here.
Yeah.
This could be the result of Doomsday fucking up timelines and people being lost, or people not existing, you know, and her just at her wit's end of like, fuck, I done lost. Kind of like the whole Thor thing. I lost my brother, my mother, my father, you know, my main love. It could be one of those things where like she's fed up. She just lost her nephew, and she's like at her wit's end. Or it could be one of those things where her nephew is still there. She's just like still grieving from losing her brother and her mother from the past movie, and just still trying to like figure out where to go with those emotions. Because a lot of times when we experience loss, I'm not to say you're irrational, but you lay into that despair, and that's a heavy toll to lose your brother and your mother and all in the same month or whatever of that movie is a lot to handle, and it could be one of those two things.
Yeah. Tristan, do you have any thoughts on if we're getting a new Black? I mean, we know we're going to get a new Black Panther at some point, but we already know Ryan Coogler has already said his next movie that he's working on is Black Panther 3, whatever that title. They haven't titled it yet. Do you think it seems like this Damson Idris guy is the guy. I just wonder, like, how do we get to that? How do we get to him being the new Black Panther?
Man, beats me, man. That I feel like either one or two things. Either it's going to be like some comic book lore that I'm not familiar with, or like they just go total left field with it. But I've been trying to rack my brain thinking about it, like because we definitely have momentum towards Damson Idris, my bad, becoming a Black Panther. But like the path, I guess is a little bit beyond me on that. Like I said, it could be some time. The most likely to me, I guess, it would be like some timeline manipulation, I guess. But like that's always my blind spot with Marvel in these movies. Yeah. So man, I'm open to any and all theories, man. I have nothing definitive, I guess that's another thing that keeps the intrigue, because Black Panther's my favorite. So like just kind of thinking about like how we get to that point, I was always cool with Shuri being Black Panther. Like if that was just what it was, and that's just what it was. Because like Frank said, I was a big fan of her in Black Panther 2, but Damson Idris also just kind of seems too perfect for the role. So like, however we get there, we get there.
And he's young too. Like he can play T'Challa for years.
Yeah.
That Black Panther 3 movie, I think it's going to come out February 2028. From all the things I've kind of put together, Denzel's apparently going to be in it. He might be the villain. That's going to be a crazy movie, and that's going to be probably just a couple months. I mean, it's going to be a couple months right after Secret Wars, so it's going to be kind of when the MCU is kind of soft rebooting or whatever they're going to do after that mega crossover event. I want to shout out to Brittany she's in the chat. She Frank, you want to say this for us?
Gone.
That's one of Brittany's favorite things about the MCU. I think that might be her favorite thing. And then she also had a question about maybe Prince T'Challa was kidnapped by Doom, which that's something we've kind of heard, that maybe he's going after the children. Maybe he's going to go after Steve's kid. He might be going after Thor's daughter. Obviously, he's going to go after the Fantastic Four's Franklin Richards, because that kid is like the mutant of all mutants. He has the most power. So I think that's going to happen. So that's a good theory. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, because if you saw Thor: Love and Thunder, Gore the God Butcher had a similar storyline, and I don't know if you want to do the same thing. Granted, it's on a much smaller scale, but yeah, that's interesting stuff. And then one other thing about Doomsday today, Marvel dropped a live stream that I guess is going to count down the rest of the year, and I want to show it to y'all. This is live on Marvel's YouTube channel, and they had this TikTok Doomsday clock that's going until December 18th. So pretty unprecedented stuff. So I can't imagine you have a live stream that would last. I mean, sometimes our pods feel like they last all year long, but this is literally going to go 11 months and 11 months and 4 days and change. So pretty crazy stuff. Any thoughts on the clock?
I know there's some serial killers and some maniacs who are actually watching this clock year round, like all year long, waiting for December to pop off. I know there is.
I've been checking it out almost every hour of the day today, and there's about 1,200 to 3,000 people watching at a time. So I am so interested to see when this finally ends. I want to see how many views this stream has. I can't wait to like. I think people are going to bet on like how many streams this thing is going to have by the end of the year. That's just crazy.
There's probably a podcast devoted strictly to this countdown.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring this back as often as I can. We're just going to be talking about random stuff, and I'm going to pop this up like, hey, by the way, Avengers Doomsday. Here's the countdown right here. Yeah. So lots of cool stuff. We're definitely going to be talking about it even more. Can't wait to get to more Doomsday. But now it's time. Let's talk about Wildcard Weekend. And guys, it was pretty good stuff. Pretty good football. We had, I mean, the four best games were the four early games. Actually the worst two are the ones we're actually going to start off with, because one of them was our Texans here in Houston. They knocked off the Steelers, and the defense absolutely dominated. Frank, what'd you think about how Houston looked in Pittsburgh?
They look every bit of the dominant defense that I expect them to look. I think the last few games of the season they got kind of complacent and bored and checked out a little bit. That's why they gave up, the game against Arizona and the game against the Raiders. Just it wasn't on brand for them. I think they were ready for January. They were more than ready. And my Lord, that was some savage behavior I saw from that side of the ball on Monday. Savage behavior, very aggressive, fast, pissed off. That is a grown man defense. And in today's football, man, like if one element of your team travels well as your defense, especially in cold weather. Yeah. And when you have a quarterback who is as hot and cold as Stroud is, all you have to do is just somewhat play a clean game to where the defense is not out there all day. And if you play somewhat of an average game manager game, they're going to deliver. I was thoroughly impressed. It's so hard. It's so hard to keep an NFL defense intact on top of years, only because of the salary cap and guys get long in the tooth. And it's kind of like a dominant closer. Like you only have them for a finite amount of time, and then once they hit that wall, it's a wrap. If you're the Texans, man, watching what I saw on Monday, you need to preserve that defense and win now. They're in their prime. They're young. A lot of those guys in their rookie contracts. But that was a thorough ass whooping, and to turn into defensive touchdowns. Because that game was 10-6 for a while. 7-6 for a while, and then I think I went upstairs to go fix something. I came back down 20 minutes later. It was 24-6. I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's just it's incredible. It's incredible. And this is for a quarterback who had 3 turnovers. Imagine if he didn't have to. That would have been a 45 to 48-6 game easily.
Yeah, Tristan. Everyone knows about Texas defense. Texas defense, the best in the league. It's their calling card. But what about the offense, specifically CJ Stroud last night?
CJ Stroud has become a guy I barely recognize, like from college to his rookie year. I mean, even certain parts of last year. Like he looks skittish. He looks, unsure of himself in a lot of his throws. He missed a throw to Nico across the middle.
Oh yeah,
that just sailed over his head like that. That's not why you're here, buddy. Like you're not Caleb Williams, Lord. We live through like these overthrows. Like your thing is precision, being on time, making the right play, standing in the pocket. Like a lot of those things, I feel like he's just regressed in, and it's interesting because 2 years ago, even last year, the concept of like CJ Stroud being possibly the reason that the Texans don't win was like so far-fetched.
Yeah.
But like we're here now. Like that defense has lapped up. Like his rookie year, the defense was solid. It was good to solid to good. Last year, the defense was good. They got really good towards the end of the year. This year, like this is the most dominant Houston Texans defense that there's been. We've seen some good defenses. Like we've seen JJ Watt. in those guys. We've seen Brian Cushing, D'Amico Ryans. Like we've seen very, very good, good Houston Texans defenses that carried a average offense. Like this defense is way better. And in theory, this offense now in 2025 should have a higher ceiling with a better quarterback than they've had in the past. Honestly, the best quarterback they've had in the history of the Texans already in year 3. But if he can't consistently make plays down the field, if he can't get over this stubborn thing of just not using his legs to pick up positive yards, to get out of, sack situations, to just keep defenses more honest, to like open up the middle and downfield, and like they just puts too much of a ceiling on the Houston Texans offense. And what's going to happen is, you're going into New England. Drake May is going to take those shots. You know what I'm saying? Like some of those he's not going to make because that secondary is so stout, but he's going to take those shots and he's going to hit some of them. He's going to, fit that ball into like some tighter windows that CJ Stroud just simply isn't like even thinking about trying to make. So as dominant as that defense is, I walked away from that game last night even more worried about the offense. And it's like, hey, you're going to come again. You're going to come across somebody, either whether it's Drake May, potentially Josh Allen, in the conference championship is going to make that defense like super work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're going to have a run game that you're going to have to at least respect. So we'll see, man. Like, I didn't see much good from the offense, you know what I'm saying, as impressive. And I mean impressive. That shit looked like it hurt. Playing them looked like it hurt. Yeah. Like, that looks uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kelvin Sampson I'm sure is very proud of that defense. Like, whatever he's feeding them, it's amazing to watch. Because that's one of the best defenses we've seen. Yeah. To just say, hey, we don't even have to blitz. Like, blitz for what? You know what I'm saying? We really don't have to run zone. Like, that's, some Madden shit. So yeah, very impressive defense. Complete opposite for the offense.
And what's more concerning too is Nico went down last night. I mean, I don't know how serious it is, but he might not play. Is it Saturday they play? They play Saturday, right?
Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, he might not play Sunday. So not having him, you're relying on a Christian Kirk and a pair of rookies essentially. So I don't. He has to. The margin of error just went down to like 0. You can't have turnover. You can't have 2 fumbles against New England, and because you don't have the offensive error to like make up for that. Like you're relying on bit pieces at this point. I mean, and the running game has been very inconsistent, to say the least, over the last 2 months. And so if you're CJ, man, you got to carry the football, bro. You cannot put the ball in harm's way. You cannot miss throws, especially wide open throws. That Nico miss was huge. That was a crazy miss. I was surprised how high that pass was in the open field.
That's a touchdown, or like at least first and goal if he makes that connection. But yeah, with CJ also, like, just get the snap. Like he had so many the balls. He wasn't sure when the ball was coming, and then he dropped the ball. But I mean, Kirk had a huge game. Christian Kirk had 8 catches, 144 yards and a touchdown. Woody Marks had over 100 yards rushing. So I mean, the offense had their moments, but the defenses was the story, of course, with the pick 6 of Aaron Rodgers. His last throw, likely in the NFL, was a pick 6. They got the sack, the fumble return touchdown also in the game when they took over. But going into this, so they play the Patriots on Sunday in the divisional round. The Texans, by the way, have never made it past the divisional round. And I've always thought that the reason why is because they've never hosted a division round game, right? This year, they will not be hosting. They'll be going to Foxborough to play the Patriots. But after watching the Patriots against the Chargers, which that was, to me, by far the worst game of the 6-game playoff slate, they won 16-3, absolutely shut the Chargers down, but the Chargers don't have much anyway. I actually feel like the Texans, that's a very winnable game to me. On paper, to me, the Patriots and Texans look very similar, except for I give the Texans defense an edge. I think they should win on Sunday. Tristan, your thoughts about the matchup on Sunday?
Again, we increased the levity of the Texans should win. Yeah. Therefore, will win. And history. There's just too much history that says that's the game that they lose. I totally agree that this is a winnable game for the Texans. I think at this point in the playoffs, every game is winnable for every team.
Yeah.
Again, the thing I worry about is even in the NFL, I firmly believe good offense beats good defense. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, good offense will beat great defense. If you can create enough mismatches here and there, you can take advantage of some breaks. Pittsburgh has some chances. Like, they had some chances to get points on that defense. It just, they tighten the screws up, and, Pittsburgh already has some built-in disadvantages coming into that game. If they just there's nothing they could do about it. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they don't have a quarterback who can threaten the second line getting out of the pocket at all. Aaron Rodgers looked for a second like he wanted to run for that first down and thought very quickly, like, this is not what I should be doing. The tires went out on his ass real quick. So I think Drake May and his ability to get out of the pocket and move, anything that you can do to, like, stretch that Houston defense out as much as as possible.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then you are able to at least create some advantages. With that offense, I can't say this is a game that Houston should win. I think that defense gives them a very great chance, to win, maybe get some points off a turnover. And if they can shut down New England's offense, like, I think the Texans' defense is good enough to do that, but I just don't think they're going to completely shut down New England's offense. I think I'm taking New England, especially with it being at home. I just, at this point, I cannot trust CJ Stroud to win 2 straight road games. I can't. Even if, I don't think he won last night. I think the Texans would have been better off with David Mills at certain points in that game. But I just can't see that happening. So, like, again, defense is great enough, but when the offense puts that much of a ceiling on itself, then I can't be that confident.
Yeah. I think it's the best game on paper to me of the divisional round. To me, it's just the one that's, like, right there for the taking. If the Texans are ever going to do it, this is your best. I mean, Drake May, he might be the MVP, but, like, this is year 2 for this team. This is a surprise. The Patriots last year were last place. Now they're first place, won the division. This is the time to get them. This is the Texans' best chance. I totally agree with you about Stroud. I don't feel great about him either, but if he can clean it up just a little bit, it's going to be a low scoring game. This is like a, if you can score 17 points, I think you can win the game. And that's all they have to do is score 17 and, hold New England to like 13 or 14. And they can get the win. Go ahead.
Say, can they get 17?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. We'll see.
Again, there's great chance Nico Collins is not playing. Like, that,
right.
That concussion looked bad in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, he went face first into it, and he knew he was woozy, and that was that. With, Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, like, is that getting you, I don't know what that's getting you. Dalton Schultz turns into Trey McBride, like, maybe, but, like, 17 might be hard to come by.
Yeah. Well, Frank, yesterday I told you before the game, we were talking at work, and I said, look, I don't think there will be 2. I said, I think there will be 2 touchdowns max scored in the total game between the 2 teams. And I was right for a long time. And then the defense scored 2 touchdowns on their own. And I was like, okay, like, but still, then the Texans offense actually scored 2 touchdowns later too. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sticking in the AFC, let's go to the Bills Jaguars game. This is the only game from the wild card round that I got wrong in my predictions. I picked the Jags to win. The Bills pulled it out 27-24, last second touchdown or a late touchdown by Josh Allen to propel Buffalo to the divisional round where they'll take on Denver. Frank, your thoughts on the game and the matchup between the Broncos and the Bills?
It went the way I thought it would go. I thought it would be close. I thought Jacksonville had the better team overall. The reason why I picked Buffalo was because it's just hard game planning for a guy like Josh Allen. Like, he's the ultimate equalizer. This is one of the worst Bills teams in recent memory as far as, just overall talent. from receiving core to the run defense. Coaching has been very, very subpar this year. But I think not having Lamar in the playoffs, not having Mahomes in the playoffs, you have no excuse now, Josh. This is you have to. You are the most veteran, seasoned quarterback in the AFC. Like, you've been here too many times, and on top of that, like, he's not afraid to use his legs. And when it's third and short, fourth and short, he's going to get it. Like, I don't see how you stop a guy like that. And Jacksonville have their opportunities, but again, remember I said last week, I think, Justin, you asked me, like, what I look for the most this past weekend coming up, and I was like, I look forward to watching coaches make stupid decisions and see what team magnifies the dumbass decisions of going for on fourth down, mismanagement of the clock, things of that nature. We watched Jacksonville inside the 10. I said, kicking the field goal and getting points, they went for it and did not get it. And Buffalo went 90 plus yards and scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Now, these are not games in October. This is not opening NFL weekend where you just take chances and increase your risk profile. You got to take points. And Liam Cohen is one of those guys. Yes, he's a great offensive play caller. He is what appears to be he's fixed Lawrence, but I just had a feeling that the Jags were going to shoot themselves in the foot of being too aggressive because of the other guy across the field in 17. And I was counting on that. And they just made critical mistakes, man. And Josh, being Josh, again, Josh has not played bad in the playoffs. He's actually played great in the playoffs. He's just on the wrong end of losses. And with the Chiefs not being there, I think he's going to, I'm not saying mow down everybody, but I think he's going to get the Super Bowl because of that.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of echo, like, this is why we said what we said about Josh Allen last week. It's like, this is why the pressure should be on you. Like, I don't subscribe to, like, this patronizing Josh Allen, his team's not perfect. Like, well, nobody's team's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's dealing with some level of flaw or injuries or this, that. Like, this is why we said that, because if you're going to beat Josh Allen, you need one of two things. You need a better player than him to outperform him in those moments in the margins, or you need a markedly better team than him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Also with a quarterback at least, who's at least close to his level. Other than that, you're not beating him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, although I would, part of his playoff record is a smidge fraudulent, because most of it is against 7 seeds, and Lamar Jackson. Like, that's essentially his playoff record, outside of losing to the Chiefs. But individually, yes, he has been amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has. If it's a bad team, he's torched them. It's like, but again, because of the reason why he has not won before, there is extra scrutiny on, like, hey, can you come through in those small moments where, hey, we just need you to be the best player on the field, and again, individually, he's looked good in the playoffs. It's been those moments in the margins that has kept him from outperforming Mahomes when he needed to, and from beating the Chiefs in order to get to, where he's trying to get to. What we saw on Sunday was excellent command of the game overall. I thought he was excellent in, like, reading defenses before the snap, understanding where the ball needed to go. Like, just, it was a mistake-free, almost not flawless, but like, hey, what needs to be done, doing it. Boom. That's what I want to see from him consistently, especially in fourth quarters, late game situations against any type of team. That's how you win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a habit that you're starting to see him. Like, he's last 6 games, like 16 touchdowns, 0 picks. Like, that's great. Like, and again, from a broader distance, you're like, oh man, he's been flawless. But, like, again, it's been those moments. 2023, down 3 with a chance to, like, tie it, gets like 15 yards. Last year, same scenario, gets 16 yards. What we saw against Jacksonville, again, like Coop said, that's a team that's better than them. Yeah. That's a team very capable of getting that last stop on in that last drive, and they weren't able to do it because he simply was the best player on the field when he needed to be. Do that 3 more times, and it's heavy.
Yeah. I think this game, the Broncos, they've been playing close games all season, so they're used to it. But if this is a close game, I like Buffalo because of Josh Allen. I think everyone, he knows this. Everyone knows the pressure's on him to win. This has got to be his year. And yeah, his team's not perfect, far from perfect, but whose team is perfect? I mean, like, you look across the way, like San Francisco, they lose an all-pro player like every week, and it's like, well, whatever. Next man up. We got to try to win somehow. We'll have our wide receiver throw a touchdown pass to win the game. So yeah, I like Buffalo. I like Buffalo Houston in the AFC title game.
And you're gonna see more as with the salary cap, the way it's reconstructed now, with like just an inordinate amount of like money being allocated to the quarterback, you're gonna see more teams like Buffalo and San Francisco make it in the playoffs, and that's gonna be the norm moving forward. Especially like when Drake May gets paid, and like a lot of these young quarterbacks who are coming up starting to get paid. You're gonna see a lot of these teams that are flawed, but like Tristan said, in key moments, can you step up and make those plays to bridge the gap between a W or L?
Yeah. So leaving the AFC, let's go to the NFC side, where the NFC put the Wild in wild card weekend because those games were crazy. I think we all thought, like, okay, the opening game of the playoffs is Rams at Panthers. Yeah, the Panthers beat the Rams a few weeks ago, but there's no way they could beat them again. There's no way this is even going to be a game. And I was wrong about that. The Rams got the win, but narrowly beating the Panthers 34-31 on a late touchdown pass from Stafford to Colby Parkinson in the final 40 seconds. Tristan, your takeaway from this game and thoughts on the Rams going forward?
Okay. Very shaky first half, very shaky, honestly, first 3 quarters. I do personally, the Rams are my Super Bowl pick. And the reason being is I judge potential champions on, do you have an extra gear? Like, can you, not flip a switch and say, oh, we're going to start playing well, but kind of flip that switch and say, okay, we're going to turn this up just a little bit more. And, you saw that with them in the fourth quarter when they absolutely needed it. But I need to see them cut out the dumb shit. It's like I'm trying to find a more professional way to say it, but it's just a series of dumb things that I need them to stop doing. Like Matthew Stafford can't, at this point in the year, he can't revert back to some of his Detroit habits, and putting the ball into harmful situations at the worst moments. Like Puka saved him from another interception, which would have been costly. You know what I'm saying? I do have concerns about the defense. Like the defense has been kind of trending downward over the last month, I would say. But ultimately, you have, in my opinion, the second best quarterback left in the playoff tournament. You have 2 studs at receiver. Running game should be sufficient. The defense, in theory, should be very good. It was good for the first 3/4 of the season. They're going to need a much more consistent effort, but I do like seeing that, hey, they were able to kind of flip a switch and say, okay, this is what we need to do. Boom, let's get it done. Drove down the field, perfect pass and catch for Matthew Stafford to the tight end. But if they're serious about winning the Super Bowl, they beat the Bears by 2 touchdowns. They offensively, they're efficient. And they get enough stops and then, build a lead and keep it, which apparently nobody can do against the Bears. But if they're serious, and they beat the Bears by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Frank, your thoughts on the Rams and their win over the Panthers?
I don't know, man. They started fucking my Super Bowl pick, bro. This game, that looked like a game. That looked like a game that was a back end of back-to-back in the NBA, like the 4 games in 5 nights. They just looked like they just did not wake up.
That's good.
That's what it looks
like. 33s against you.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you shooting 12 or 49 from three. You got like 24 turnovers in 3 quarters. They just didn't look like they were ready. I'm like, what's up, bro? Like, what's going on? But remember what I said, man. Like, last week I was like, Stafford's dope. He is, when he's on his shit, when he's throwing on time, he's on schedule. You know what I'm saying? The accuracy, the anticipation, he's legit. And then you get Detroit Stafford, man, that pops up every blue moon. Detroit Stafford cannot show up next week. You will lose. I'm still gonna stick with my Rams pick, Rams and Bills. The Rams win it at all, but he has to play better. And what is going on with their running game? It's like Kyron and Blake Corum. It's like they threw, like, there was a point where I think I counted 21 straight passes in a row in the second half. They refused to run the ball, and I don't know why. Like, Kyron Williams was a 1,200-yard rusher last year. You know what I'm saying? Blake Corum has shown that he could carry the ability of, like, being a quality backup running back in this league, and they just abandoned the running game. And it was very unlike McVay, because I know McVay, he uses the 3 receiver set, the play action, off that RB give, and they just got totally out of character, man. I was really surprised by that. McVay was on that bullshit. It looked like 2004 Andy Reid, just on that bullshit, and like you can't do that, against stiffer competition.
I think we're going to see the Bears-Rams game on Sunday afternoon. I think that has the best chance of being the highest scoring game. I think that might be the one shootout we get this weekend. And that's because the Bears they beat the Packers on Saturday night, 31-27. They scored 25 points in the fourth quarter to rally past their rivals to win. Caleb Williams at 361 yards, one of the craziest throws on a 4th and 8 you'll ever see. He also had 2 touchdowns. Jordan Love had a great game also, just not enough to get the win. Tristan, your thoughts on this wild game?
I'm going to start with the Packers because I thought it was a masterclass in, like, again, if you box score watch and you just kind of look at this from a bird's eye view, you're like, man, Jordan Love played perfectly. 4 touchdowns. They got another touchdown in the midst of the Bears comeback. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't enough because of those marginal things that we talk about. Not in the second half, the Bears said, hey, Jordan Love, you're not just going to sit there 5 seconds, survey, order a pizza, do whatever, and just kind of pick us apart. And they sent some pressure at that offensive line and Jordan Love, and they weren't really able to adjust. Like, there were just too many possessions. Like, these possessions seemed like they lasted like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I think one of them was like 28 seconds. These 3 and outs, like, you essentially facilitated your own demise. And that was a moment where, like, hey, this is where we expect Jordan Love in that offense and Matt LaFleur to, like, get something going to, like, at the very least extend these drives out. Even if you end up punting, you like, let's get 6-7 minutes off the clock, right? Like, these, the possessions lasting 30 seconds, 45 seconds, like, that does good, especially knowing what's on the other side and how they tend to pick up the tempo in that second half when they're down. And on the flip side, man, like, it wasn't even like a flawless comeback. Like the Bears made mistakes. Like, in the course of that, like, it took both of those teams to, like, facilitate that comeback. But Caleb Williams was special. Yeah. He was absolutely special. He made about 5 throws in that game that were just, I think Pro Football Focus said he had 6 quote unquote big time throws, what they deem as big time throws, which is the most by anybody in one game this season. He was special, man. Like, that 4th and 8. If you just say 4th and 8 at this point, people know which throw you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it demonstrates. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Like, the Bears' diet for winning is essentially overcoming slow starts on offense, Some missed opportunities, either Caleb missing guys, running game not working, receiver drops, tight end drops, and then a bunch of just like magical Caleb throws.
Yeah.
Like I saw somebody talk about it today. Like I kind of think about this. We look at Caleb Williams and his like completion percentage. It's like hovering around 58 to 60%. But like I think I would take the trade-off of like the special throws that he makes downfield.
Yeah.
Over a few misses here and there. Crazy as that sound, like he should still be making them, but like he's essentially shooting 45% on threes,
right,
as opposed to your 52% on twos. Excellent. I'm gonna make these big time throws, especially in the biggest moments, and like those were some iconic throws and super iconic comeback. Man, he's special, and like you can see him turning into the superstar slowly. Like again, there's still some room to grow. But turning into and heading towards that trajectory of the superstar that we thought he was going to be.
Yeah, that was a big win for the Bears to beat their longtime rival that has dominated them for decades. To do that was really impressive.
You're on mute?
I should be okay. Can you not hear me? Can you hear me now? Am I back? Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
You don't have me. Okay. Let's see. Let me try something here. What about now? Can you hear me now?
I'm gonna come back out and come back in.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, the Bears Packers game was a classic game. It was a wild game. It was the late game on Saturday. It was on Amazon Prime, which is not normal for the NFL playoffs, at least not traditionally, but yeah, it was a good one, great one. And let's see if Tristan can you hear me now.
Yeah,
now we're back. Now we're going. Okay, good.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you the whole time. Yeah, heard everything you said. Yeah. One of the things I want to mention about that game was not that I forgot, but like the Packers have so many good receivers. Like it was like they have so much talent at the wideout spot, and it's like, man, how did this team lose 5 straight games to end the season? They were 9-8-1. It's like that team is so talented. I know they lost Michael Parsons, a few weeks back, but that's a pretty disappointing end to that team.
It's the inability to put together pass rush plus good pass game plus run game at the same time. Like, man, you look at the beginning of the year, Cleveland, like offense didn't show up. Defense was great. Offense didn't show up. Like, it's just kind of putting all those things together. Cowboys game, defense didn't show up. Offense was amazing. And the last 5 weeks is just which unit is just completely not going to show up, right? In this game, offense was flawless. Offense and defense were flawless. It was 21-3 at the half. That game should have been over. Like a couple good drives in the third could have gone a long way towards putting that game away, but like they protection broke down in the second half. They weren't able to run the ball, obviously. So they're behind the sticks, and all these third and longs, you end up, 3 and outs, and it's like a bunch of things happening over and over again. Like,
yeah.
And then the defense just completely fell apart in the fourth quarter. At some point, they're going to have to like build towards a consistent. Who are we, right? Do we in these pressure moments? Do we run the ball more? Do we put the ball in Jordan Love's hands? What does that look like? Like you said, they have a bunch of good receivers, but that's kind of all they are is good receivers. Like, I don't know if any one of them are capable of doing consistent great things, to like make up for the fact that when Jordan Love is inaccurate, like, can they go out and still make those plays?
Yeah.
Losing Tucker Kraft did not help. He was kind of working his way into like their best offensive option.
Yeah.
So there's been a ceiling on them, honestly, since Tucker Kraft got hurt offensively, and then the same way with Michael on defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually forgot about Tucker Kraft. So good call on that. You're right. He was kind of becoming their main guy. So still like a classic game. Really fun game. The way I mean, not that I thought the Bears were for sure going to come back, but you felt like, hey, this is going to be entertaining at the end. I don't know who's going to win, but we're going to get a pretty cool finish here. Now finished up the NFC. Let's go to the final game. We had the 49ers beating the Eagles. They lost George Kittle during the game, but they had enough to knock off the defending champs in Philadelphia. Niners won 23-19. Brock Purdy, not his best outing. 262 through the air. He had 2 TDs, but also 2 interceptions. Both of them were pretty bad. But they also go ahead.
I was heavily impressed.
Okay,
with Brock Purdy.
Go for it.
I was very impressed with Brock Purdy. I walked away from that game feeling much better about Brock Purdy than I did before. And I think he's a good starting quarterback who is capable of having franchise quarterback games.
Yeah.
But not obviously doing it on a consistent basis. What he showed me, I have this theory. It's kind of born from my like basketball philosophy, but like your best players should be allowed to make some mistakes, right? Do you want them to be as egregious as those 2 picks that he threw? Absolutely not. Is that the best moment for it? No. But I think your best players should be allowed. It's like, what do you bring to if I'm bringing 10 things to the table, but I might take 2 things off, you're gonna have to live with that +8. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I thought that he did a lot of +8 things. Like he brought a lot. He was using his legs to get out of the pocket. You know, even if it was just picking up 3 to 4 yards where it might have been a -6. He made some big throws. The touchdown to McCaffrey was excellent, just kind of stepping up into the pocket, manipulating their linebacker. Like he did great things. Like those 2 picks were bad. Like we can't sugarcoat it, but like with the drain of talent around him, you know, and then losing Kittle, like in the midst of that game, essentially having McCaffrey, DeMarcus Robinson, Chiefs legend, a little bit of Sky Moore, Chiefs legend, for different reasons, and the fucking fullback, Juice. I can't even say his name, and he's one of the best fullbacks in the game. Juice, like he essentially became like their third option, right?
And Juwan Jennings too.
Juwan Jennings, but like that's a far cry from what they thought they were going to have coming into this playoff game. And I thought Purdy, if not, he definitely didn't put them on his back. Like that was more McCaffrey. But like I thought he showed like, hey man, like regardless of how much talent I have around me, I'm going to like continue to try to make these big plays because I know that's what's necessary. Where we see most quarterbacks with around his talent range, see that level of talent leave and like become super conservative because this is what they know. So like I was much more impressed with him, and I was twice as impressed with him as I was the quarterback on the other sideline.
Yeah. Yeah, Brock Purdy, I mean, he has a little bit of gunslinger, but, you know, with a gunslinger, you're going to miss. You're going to get shot sometimes. But before we talk about the Eagles, I want to finish up with the 49ers and say that you mentioned DeMarcus Robinson. Huge game, 6 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. But I want to talk about the other receiver because the other receiver, Juwan Jennings, he might have had the best pass of the game on that wide receiver reverse pass to McCaffrey. McCaffrey made like the Willie Mays over-the-shoulder catch for the touchdown. That same play, they ran that against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Sure did.
Got another touchdown out of it. The reason why I want to mention this, I saw on Twitter that 24/7 Sports showed Juwan Jennings. He was a high school quarterback, or he was a quarterback in high school. He went to Tennessee. They converted him to a receiver. But while in high school, he was the number 5 rated dual threat quarterback, ahead of names such as Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. So he was rated above those guys in high school. That's crazy.
He apparently he was the man. Like I saw that as well. Like those are some names.
It's like, who did Tennessee have at quarterback that made him catch passes instead of throwing them? Because like I can't remember who we talking about there.
I'm like, who is actually better than Juwan Jennings? Like if he could do that, I can't recall a single Tennessee quarterback who was better than that. So I
mean Peyton Manning, but that was maybe 20 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to shout out Juwan Jennings because that was, I mean, he makes big plays. That's a big play guy. His whole career with the Niners has been just kind of a highlight reel. Um, yeah, moving over to Philadelphia, which last week I was talking about how I just thought I didn't see them winning. Their season was just like trending downward. Like it just seemed like this wasn't going to be their year, and it pretty much played out on Sunday where they're a much more talented team than San Francisco. They're a much healthier team than San Francisco. I mean, that should have been, talk about the Rams should beat the Bears by 2 touchdowns. Eagles should have beaten the 49ers by double digits, I think. But you kind of see why they're not good enough to do that.
It's the same thing, honestly, we said about the Texans. Like, I thought the Eagles defense was really good.
Yeah.
It was like very good. Like San Francisco had to work for every point that they got. They had to, like you said, pull some stuff out of their ass, for one of those touchdowns, but they did it. But the offense is so bad that it limits you. We can't talk about you blowing somebody out if you can't score enough points to do the blowing out. You know what I mean? Like you can't blow somebody out 10-3. So like the offense is so bad, and yes, there's a lot of talent, but there's some uncomfortable conversations to be had. Like I think Jalen Hurts does a lot of very good things on the football field. I think Jalen Hurts demonstrates every level of like leader that you want, like steady, cool. Jalen Hurts is limited as a passer, despite his strengths. He is very limited as a passer. I think I saw something like he threw 80% of the passes he threw were hitch routes. I'm like, Jalen Hurts has 3 pitches, man. He has a 4-seamer. He has one slider at like 80, 85, and he has a curve, and that's it. And he can only throw them at certain points, at the plate.
Yeah.
Like he's not giving you like this variety. He's not stretching the field the way you need him to. And even when he did make the throws that I felt like he needed to make, his wide receiver, his number 1 wide receiver just simply didn't come down with him. Like this is this entire year, like you said, was them, their stars not coming through like they needed to.
Yeah.
Like either bad quarterback play, the running game could never get going, which affects the quarterback play. Receivers, either not getting like a full route tree, like running these basic ass routes and this basic ass offense where like they're running the same play over and over again with the game on the line.
Yeah.
With the game on the line, the same exact play. Like all these things like I saw no reason to feel confident in them to win, let alone go back to back. You know what I'm saying? And that's what played out. Ultimately, Nick Sirianni got dressed down by Kyle Shanahan at every point. And that just appeared, even with all the injuries and the talent gap on both sides, it came down to coaching. And that's as big a mismatch as we had this weekend.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, obviously, and also they have a lot of success against Philadelphia through the years. Even that year when Purdy got hurt, and they didn't have a quarterback in the, I think then like Josh Johnson came in, he got hurt also or something. It was some crazy deal where they had to have McCaffrey back there. That was not a blowout game.
They had to put Brock Purdy back in and just hand the ball off. Like they had nothing else.
But I think maybe the Eagles won by 10 or something, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like they died like San Francisco, and then they played them since then. I think San Francisco's won both times. So like they definitely, have a game plan that works against Philadelphia. And obviously it starts with the coaching. Looking for San Francisco going forward, they will take on the Seahawks, their division rival. Seahawks are the number 1 seed. They just played a few weeks ago, and Seattle completely shut them down. That was with George Kittle. Now Kittle's out with the Achilles injury. What do you see in this matchup that will now be played in Seattle? The last time they played it was in San Francisco. Now we're going to Seattle.
This is a game if Seattle's serious that they take full advantage of everything that San Francisco's missing. If they can just find a way to corral McCaffrey and make those receivers beat you deep, then this is a game that Seattle should win. 49ers will not be able to run the ball effectively against Seattle. Like the way to the promised land the rest of the way, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perspective, is Brock Purdy just kind of upping a level and taking full control of that offense and like making some, throws down the field consistently to challenge that secondary. He's gonna have to win. Those Juwan Jennings, Demarcus Robinson again, a little bit of Sky Moore. McCaffrey when they bring him out, like they're gonna have to win and win consistently. Because that Seattle defense is second to the Texans as far as like, and in some metrics they're number one, but like just the eye test, I still have the Texans number one.
Yeah.
But Seattle's right with them as far as like, man, this shit looks like it hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like this does not look fun. You know what I'm saying? Like both defense swarm. They swarm. Like there's no yak. There's no such thing as yak. Like you catch it, that's where you lay. You know what I'm saying? And so I think this game is going to come down to Purdy versus, I hate to simplify it like that, but 49ers won't be able to run the ball. So a lot of it is going to be put on Purdy's shoulders. Yeah. Seattle does not run the ball that much, so like automatically this is on, Sam Darnold as far as offensively. But I think this is a game Seattle should win by 6, call it 6. But they should win this. What Sam Darnold's gonna show up, this is the furthest he's ever been, especially with a team, dependent on him. So I can't wait to see it, but like it's gonna come down to the quarterbacks, one way or another.
Yeah, I agree. I think Seattle, they're the favorite. They should win this game. But I will not be surprised if San Francisco finds a way to win this game. I don't think they get through the next round, but like I think they can win this game. And I think we'll see a better showing than what we saw a few weeks ago in that Saturday night game they played in the regular season against Seattle. So
great.
Looking forward to that one. I mean, the four games that we got coming this weekend. How do you feel about them? Are you like, hey, this is pretty good, right?
I think this is excellent. I think this is excellent. We didn't really talk about the Broncos, but like, this is a lot of these games are like narrative kings, man. Like philosophy wise, like the Broncos and this complete team. We have a quarterback who we just need to kind of play within our system, and he thrives from that. Good running game, great defense versus superstar guy. Superstar guy, really good running back, great offensive line, and a great pass defense. Like, what is going to win out? These are going to be some great games, man. Like, we have a chance to like look at individual players and say, hey, can you up at a level, with San Francisco versus Seattle? Can Josh Allen break through against a great defense? Is Bo Nix serious? Is he somebody that we should take serious? You know what I'm saying? Is that offense good enough with him at the helm? Because I think we know that defense is going to show up for the most part. But can that defense get stops late against superstar guy? You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of Bears-Rams, man. We got two of the best quarterbacks playing in this playoffs right now. Matt Stafford and Caleb Williams. Drake May, versus that was looking like the 85 Bears mixed with the Legion of Boom. Like, we're in for a really, really good weekend. Divisional round is usually the best weekend of football that we get.
Right.
Outside of like your rare, super great championship game weekend. But man, NFL is winning, man, on this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all four games. Can't wait to check them out. We'll be talking about next week. But the last thing NFL wise I want to get to is, since our last pod, there's been some coaching moves. There's been some coaching moves since last night's game. I want to get your thoughts on, Tristan. So last week, the Ravens. Well, first off, the Dolphins fired. I think the Ravens fired John Harbaugh first, and then the Dolphins fired Mike McDaniel. Which, no surprise with Mike McDaniel. He was on the hot seat in preseason, I think. The fact that he made it the whole year is probably the biggest surprise there. And then today we had Mike Tomlin step down. I'm sure there was a lot of pressure applied to that decision, potentially. After 19 seasons, he never had a losing season, a losing record. Harbaugh also had I think he was there 18 years. He had 12 or 13 years in the playoffs. Obviously, won a Super Bowl. Tomlin won a Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on these moves that we've seen the last week or so?
I think all of these moves were necessary for different reasons.
Yeah,
For Harbaugh and Tomlin, these two were part of probably the best rivalry that we've had over the last 10, maybe 15 years in the NFL. They've been staples for those franchises for so long. Like you said, they've had incredible success, consistent success, winning seasons, at least making it to the playoffs, few deep runs here and there. Tomlin made another Super Bowl outside of winning the Super Bowl. But it was time. It was time for different reasons. Like for Tomlin, the Steelers were never going to be able to ascend to the next level of being contenders with him there, because he raises your floor too high, but he alone cannot raise the ceiling of that team without having a quarterback. So and that was never going to change. So essentially it just kind of came to a head. I think, I don't even think Pittsburgh forced him out. I think this is the writings on the wall. It's like, hey, I'm always going to be in this position where I'm going to have to get this team to 9-8. You know what I'm saying? Get this team to 10-6, hopefully, but most likely 8-9, 9-8. They've consistently been around that range because Tomlin has had to squeeze every drop from that offense. The defense has been good for the most part over the last 10 years, but they've had some mediocre years as well. And they weren't great enough this year to make up for the lack of offensive firepower, I would say. So it was time. With Harbaugh, he had the quarterback and they still couldn't get it done. So it was definitely time on that end. McDaniels is funny because it looked like they were going to bring him back until they found out that John Harbaugh got fired. And maybe they decided to pivot and go after him. But man, I think it was also interesting that both Tomlin and Harbaugh got the luxury of being able to say, hey, we parted ways, or Tomlin, resigned or stepped down. That's just the respect that they deserve. Both of them went out essentially with non-losing records. Neither one of those coaches ever embarrassed the franchise. At the very worst, for both of them, you could say, hey, they didn't win either on Harbaugh's side. They didn't win, some of the playoff games they should have won. Yeah. On Tomlin's side, hey, they couldn't overcome bad offense and bad quarterback play. So shout out to them, but it was time.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin, is he the Tom Thibodeau of the NFL?
No.
I just thought about that.
Honestly, no, because more teams than got rid of Tom Thibodeau.
No, you're
success.
No, you're right. No, you're definitely right. But he was known for kind of squeezing every ounce of talent out of, as good as his teams could be. He'd get the best out of certain players. Yeah.
I also think Thibodeau did things actively to harm the ceiling of his teams. We joke about him running those guys into the ground, but he literally ran those guys into the ground. He didn't utilize his bench enough to where we got into the playoffs and you need a different lineup or a different spark, a different look.
Right.
He didn't have confidence in those guys because you didn't play them all fucking year. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I don't think Tomlin actively did anything to harm the Steelers. He just didn't have enough tricks in the bag to overcome the obvious shortcomings.
Mm-hmm. You look at the AFC North right now, and only Zach Taylor is in place, the Bengals head coach. The rest of the division is open. I know. I mean, everyone kind of thought Zach Taylor was going to get fired too. Potentially the whole division could have been available for a coach. Okay. I hate to say something that's never happened when I don't know, but I can't remember a whole division being coachless. That would be a new one.
That would be a first, I think.
Because usually the team that wins the division keeps their coach for at least another year. So
that would be a first, I believe. I guarantee that's a first.
I also think it's so crazy this week, given, now we have 8 openings or 9 openings. This week we've had all the guys who were fired last week have been interviewing this week. So Raheem Morris, Kevin Stefanski, even John Harbaugh, they've been visiting the Falcons. I mean, not Morris, but like Stefanski and Harbaugh went to the Falcons, and then they're going to the Giants, and it's just like it's like musical chairs. It's like the same guys that just got fired are now potentially going to get these other jobs. It's like where's the new blood? Like are we going to see a college coach jump? Are we going to see a coordinator come out of nowhere? It seems like right now it's all the names that were fired last week are like, hey, this next week it could be get a new head job.
I have a theory, quick theory.
Yeah,
I think, especially if we look at the McVay era, like around that range, McVay got hired in 2017. But we've seen, I mean, even John Gruden, Lane Kiffin, like we've seen like these really, really young head coaches, and we've kind of seen that trend to more and more young head coaches in their 30s. I think Kingsbury got his head coaching job in his mid 30s. Like,
right.
As we see a lot of those young guys getting those head coaching jobs, it's just a cycle. Now we have more young guys coming through the ranks.
Yeah.
To where I think who is it? It was some coordinator, but he's like 30. He just interviewed somewhere, but he's 30. Like 30-year-old offensive coordinator.
It was the Commanders guy, David Blau or what? He was the Lions quarterback. He played in a Thanksgiving game like 4 years ago.
He's
married to like a track and field athlete. Yeah.
Who's the sister of another NFL player. I forgot.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, but like, I think teams are looking at it like, man, like, do they want to kind of dip back into like that really young coach pool, right? So it's kind of like waiting for some of those guys to like mature. Like the Rams passing game guys. I've never heard his name said out loud, so I don't want to mispronounce it. Scales Kelsey or something like that. But he's like 32 and he looks 22. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to kind of dip into that pool to like lead grown men still?
Right.
At least Mike McDaniel looks like a substitute teacher. He talks like a substitute teacher. He acts like a substitute teacher. That has to be an impediment to like sustain success in the NFL. So that's my theory.
I think it's pretty solid. It makes sense. You're right. They went super young, and then what do you do? Do you keep doing that, or do you for every Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, there's going to be 10 other guys that it's not going to work. So makes sense. Finally, talk some college football. We're now the college football, the CFP national championship game is set. It's next Monday. Number 1 Indiana, undefeated Indiana versus number 10 Miami in Miami. Actually, this year, the Hoosiers they're an 8-point. They're like right now they're 8.5-point favorite. Thoughts on this game? Does Miami have a chance?
I think Miami has a chance because Miami, I think, can compete with Indiana. I think Miami can compete with Indiana in the trenches. I think they can compete with them in the trenches because we may just look up and Indiana just might be. Those are grown men. Those are grown men, and they take pride in showing that they are grown men against a lot of these kids that they're going up against. Because it didn't look fair, against Oregon. Like they pounded them and they just pounded them and they just, hey, we'll pound you some more, just for the hell of it. So, but I do think Miami at the same time, like that's where they won as well as up front. So I think they can compete there. Is Carson Beck? Can Carson Beck outduel Fernando Mendoza? I don't know if he can. I'm going with Mendoza and Cignetti in that offense, and just their ability to play like situational football just perfectly. They run when they need to run, and they get the yards they need to get in the run. They use play action well. Like Fernando can is hitting these tight windows, man. Like their defense swarms. So I definitely think there's a slight talent, which is crazy to say considering these are like James Madison kids for the most part. But like I think there's a slight talent gap, with Indiana slightly ahead. But I think Miami can compete at least for most of the game. I don't think this is going to be like an end-to-end blowout or anything like that. But I can see Indiana pulling away late just because they're just better coached, better quarterback. And again, those are grown men up front, and they're going to win. I hope Miami can compete enough with them.
Yeah, I hope it's a game because, like, Indiana just slaughtered Oregon. I mean, 56-22, it wasn't even really that close. I mean, a 32 or 34-point game, and it really wasn't that close. Like, just a total domination of a conference rival. I think Miami can I think you're right. I think they can make it close. They can run the ball a little bit. Maybe they can, stop Indiana's running attack a little bit, maybe. But Indiana, it's so crazy how they've got in like just a few years, they've gone from like the worst team in Division One to now they look like prime Alabama. They look like better than Alabama's best recent Saban run. They do. It's crazy.
Totally agree. No. They do.
Yeah.
They look like prime Alabama with better quarterback play.
There you go. Yeah, that's the difference.
So,
I mean, what an incredible turnaround. I mean, and then like if you like look at how they've built their team mostly through the portal, and they're not even like getting like these like big time stars in the portal. They're getting these like guys who were like recruited or rated as like, oh, they were a 3-star, but now they're a junior, and now they've elevated themselves to like a 4-star, and they're just stacking those kind of players to where they have this older team that's like maybe they only have a couple of superstars, but they have everybody on the team is like excellent. They're just really good football players. It's tough to beat this team.
Everything you just said is coaching.
Yeah.
It's just superior coaching. Yeah. So like that, ultimately that's why I'm taking Indiana to win this, because they, as everything you just said is 100% correct. And then add to that, there's I would say a sizable, coaching gap. That's going to be the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard it's like Indiana is going to be 16-0 national champions. Like that's just crazy.
There's a very good chance that's going to happen.
I mean, they might go on a run too. I mean, if Cignetti decides to stick around, which it seems like he
financially, he has every incentive to stick around.
Right.
His buyout, I think, is $15 million.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Indiana, they're just going to continue to extend him. And he just signed an extension.
Yeah.
I think Cignetti's 64.
Right.
I can't see him jumping into football when, like, if he wins on Monday, he's the king of Indiana. You know what I mean? Like, in a way we probably haven't seen since Bob Knight. There's no reason. So I can definitely see him. They got some good transfers coming in. I think they got the quarterback from Cincinnati.
From TCU. They got Josh Hoover from
TCU.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, and if he don't work out, they got another Mendoza. So interesting to see what happens with him. But they're set up to have it. I think everything in college football at this point is like a 3-year run at best. But they could dominate the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. And I mean, even Fernando Mendoza, now he's a household name. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. He might be the number 1 pick in the draft. Last year he was at Cal. He's a transfer from Cal. It's not like he came from USC or he was the second string on Alabama or something. He came from Cal. So Cignetti just knows what he's doing with the portal, with obviously, like you said, the coaching. And this could be like the next Alabama just in Indiana. Just doesn't make sense when you say it, but it's happening right in front of our eyes. It's great. And the fact that Miami is going to be at home and they're probably going to be the road, there's going to be more Indiana fans than Miami fans there, more than likely from what I've heard. That's also wild. I mean, we're talking about the U, one of the, when we were growing up, that's a powerhouse call. That's a football factory.
That is college football royalty.
Yeah. And they're going to be playing at home, and they'll have less people in the stands rooting for them. Crazy.
I just found out Indiana has the largest alumni base.
I heard that too.
Country.
Yeah.
Which is, again, wow. It's Indiana, but they got it.
Well, I mean, Indiana's known for basketball, but even in college basketball, when was the last great Indiana college basketball moment? It's been a
while.
Like, I think they went to maybe the Elite Eight or Final Four like 20-something years ago. I remember they had a run out of nowhere, and then
they no, that was Maryland. No, yeah, Maryland, Indiana, 2002 championship game.
Okay,
that was the last. I would say great. They had some decent moments with Oladipo.
Oladipo, yeah.
But outside of that, there's not much there.
Yeah, that's right. 2002 makes sense because in 2003 they came to North Texas to play a game like early in the season, and I mean they slaughtered North Texas. But I was the beat reporter for the college paper, so I got to watch Indiana beat up on the Mean Green. But yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah,
a long time ago, and they're still known for that though. That they've been living off the Bob Knight days and
Bob Knight didn't make a Final Four. He hadn't made a Final Four since 1987.
Yeah.
So it was a while for him too,
Yeah. So you're right. Curt Cignetti could be the king of Indiana. Like it's ripe. It's right there. I mean, Daniel Jones had it in his grasp for a little while. It seemed like the season, but he just couldn't.
It is Tyrese Halliburton, Clark, and then Curt Cignetti. That's who runs Indiana. And honestly, it is Caitlin Clark, Tyrese Halliburton,
right.
Curt Cignetti.
They're
running it.
It's just Cignetti. If he gets hurt, it's not as big a deal as Caitlin Clark or Halliburton. And I mean, Daniel Jones too. All three of them had injury problems. So we might see, the curse of Indiana be broken on Monday with the national title game. By the way, we'll be coming back next Tuesday to wrap up divisional round. We'll wait till after the CFP national title game to talk about that, though. I think we kind of know what's going to happen given our discussion. You never know, though. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
Carson Beck might turn into Joe Burrow. Who knows?
I mean, before we go, we talked about that a little bit. Carson Beck played really well.
He did
in that game. I mean, that was an all-time game for him.
Yeah, he absolutely did. I mean, commanded offense, made some big throws, avoided the mistake. This is the anti-Carson Beck experience that we've seen. But I mean, again, this is a guy who backed up Matt Stafford at this point. So it's good to see Carson Beck, I guess, is a poster boy for why you stay. Obviously there's NIL money and porn stars apparently, but he legitimately got better as a quarterback.
Yeah,
right? He'll never be first round pick, second round pick guy, but
right.
You can work yourself into being a good third and fourth round. Hell, Dylan Gabriel got starts in the NFL this year. So it can happen for you. If you just improve. So shout out to Carson Beck.
Yeah, and the transfer portal is still open right now in college football, and I think we should pay attention to it more and more every year because look at the national championship game. The two starting quarterbacks are transfer portal guys. Beck left Georgia to come to Miami. Fernando Mendoza left Cal to, make a name for himself in Indiana. And I don't think this trend is going to end anytime soon because what Cignetti has done with the portal, we're going to see other schools try to do it as much as they're. We all know sports is copycat stuff, so we're going to see other schools try to do the same thing. So it should be really interesting. And if you're also watching the portal stuff, Texas got a big receiver this week from Auburn. Who will be in the 2027 draft. The 2027 NFL draft, for receivers and potentially quarterbacks, might be an all-timer.
You starting to see more buzz about Arch going number one. Yeah. And towards the end of the season, you start to see it okay. That's right. Okay. So no, it could be an all-timer, man. It could be one of those, like you said, especially at the receiver position.
Yeah.
Ooh, Jeremiah Smith. Man.
Yeah. And the upcoming NBA draft also has got 3 or 4 really legitimate this year. Yeah.
Listen, man, I am whatever team Darren Peterson goes to, I am a fan of. I think he's the best. He's the best guard prospect I've seen, complete all-around guard prospect I've seen. Technically, I would say Markelle Fultz, but if I can go beyond that, I could say, it's been a while since I've seen a guard prospect just this sound, start to finish. every aspect of the game. Like, I think he has a chance to be a superstar. So I have him at number one. I think he's the best player in college basketball, even with the injuries. Like, I think he's the best player. Like, he looks like if I dropped him in the Brooklyn Nets rotation,
right,
or I dropped him on the team tomorrow, he'd be in the rotation within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Like, he just has a feel, an NBA feel. He looks like an NBA player playing college, where like those other freshmen are great. You know, Cam Boozer, DeBonsa, Pete at Arizona. Like, those guys are great, but they look like great college freshmen.
Yeah.
And Peterson looks like an NBA player, you know, like in a lot of ways. So these drafts are shaping up to be something special.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're getting compared to like Michael Jordan or Kawhi Leonard, that's a pretty good. I mean, some way. Now, if you're getting compared to Kawhi Leonard because you're not playing, that's not a good thing. But when you're on the floor and you're playing like him, I get it. I get why he's gonna be the number one.
I've seen some Kobe comparisons that I think are slightly a little a reach, but the feel was like, okay, the feel for the game, movements, the footwork, like stuff like that. You can, I can see it, you know, in certain ways. You squint your eyes a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good.
To me, it's hard to compare people to Kobe. Like, I mean, LeBron's obviously the one that's like, there's nobody that ever like looked like LeBron, I don't think, in high school. But even Kobe, I remember watching the McDonald's game that year, and it was like, this guy like looks like Michael Jordan. Like, it was kind of like, I mean, and then when he came in the league, obviously he didn't play a ton the first couple year and a half or so. But like, once he got to play, it's like this guy's on a different level. Like, you can't compare a ton of people to him. But yeah, I'm excited about the college basketball. I've actually been watching a little bit this year, here and there when I have time, and it's like, man, this is pretty good. I'm looking forward to the tournament. I'm actually gonna maybe know some of the players this year.
Apparently, it works better when you know who these guys are.
It does. It does work a lot better when you know who they are, because then you know who they are when they're in the NBA. Also, that's also fun too. So, Tristan, anything else before we get out of here?
No, man. I hope you get a great game.
Yeah.
On Monday, in the national championship game, and I think this divisional round is going to be a A+. So,
yeah,
another good weekend of great football, 3-day weekend. Just got to get through 2 measly ass work days, and I'm off tomorrow, but like 2 measly work days, and we'll be there.
Yeah. The weekend is calling our name. That's for sure. We can't wait to check it out. We'll be back next week to talk all about it. So we're about to get out of here. I just want to say thanks to everybody who was in the chat today. We had some familiar faces. We had King B was in the chat. We had Yesenia. We had Trisha, even Brittany, one of fellow watchers who joined us via the chat. We appreciate that. Also had some newcomers though. We had X Punisher. Thanks for your comments. Appreciate you joining us tonight. We also had a comment from Laja, all the way from New Zealand, which he said, watching from New Zealand, great show, guys. And I'm like, wow, we appreciate it. What time is it in New Zealand right now? I'm sure I could look it up, but I'm not gonna. So just if you're still watching, let us know in the chat. We'd appreciate that. Because I don't know if we've ever had a watcher from New Zealand. So that's a
first I've seen, man. Shout out to New Zealand, man.
Yeah. Very cool. So that about does it for this week. Again, we're on YouTube. You know we're there. We know you can hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. And also you can check us out on Spotify. Be sure if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to give us a 5-star rating. That really helps us out. And so that does it for the show. So for Tristan, I'm Justin saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Have a good night.